Hey Alpha, what time is it?
Wait, what?
Hello and welcome to BronyTime. I am your host. I've done nothing but teleport bread for 3 days, 5-iron, and I'm joined again by my emergency backup co-host. He's the creator of the Little Cheapskates Home Dentistry Kit, Jesse Carlson. Jesse, how are you, man?
Oh, I'm doing well, though I can't say the same for the home dentistry business, man.
Is it
rough?
Is it not picking up like it's supposed to?
I really thought it was gonna pick. I don't know. I was misled.
Oh.
I got some bad info.
Oh, crap. Is that a bad investment? Maybe we can get Kickstarter to bail you out or something.
There you go.
Well, thank you again for jumping in and helping us. Alpha, dear sweet listeners, Alpha is not here tonight. He is recovering from a horrible spray paint accident. He should be back on the next show, and we wish him a speedy recovery. So, let's get started. We got a big, fun show for you tonight. We're going to go ahead and jump straight into the news. There's not a whole lot of news going on, but there is a little bit of news we can talk about here.
Just a smidge.
Yeah, just a smidge is not a lot, but today, Transformers: Age of Extinction is premiering in theaters, and rumor has it, almost completely confirmed, I haven't seen the film yet, but apparently Rainbow Dash makes an appearance in Transformers: Age of Extinction. Sorry, I see. Dear sweet listeners will not know this, but one of our panelists is cowering with his ears covered because he doesn't want to hear the spoiler, and I'm not gonna. All right, well, I guess it is kind of a spoiler. Sorry, spoiler warning.
Yeah, I'd say the spoiler is just saying that the news headline. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, come on.
I saw the clip. Honestly, I thought it was fake. It looked kind of fake, and so if it's real, I don't know what that says about the quality of this GIF or this movie or what. But yeah, you kind of spoiled it just by reading the headline.
Well, I mean,
sorry.
It's hardly integral to the whole story, but it's a fun little.
Isn't it though? Isn't it?
Well, unless it starts.
Did you read the books?
Listen, the books.
Come on,
books. No one reads the Transformer books. Do they even make those?
Sure they do.
I'm not surprised.
They make books out of all kinds of movies.
Yeah, sometimes I think that's just recycled phone books. Sometimes because I mean, who's going to take time to read that? I mean, come on, it's Transformers. If you're not hearing Peter Cullen as Optimus Prime, then you're not really watching Transformers.
I don't know that. I feel like you would always hear him, and it's got to be in your heart.
Yes, Transformers in your heart. Anyway, to me, it struck me more as like an Easter egg than an actual spoiler. Anyway, we'll move right along to the next part. So, keeping in the home merchandising biz, Pony Chutes and Ladders. Apparently, this is a thing that we needed, because I guess Pony Monopoly worked out so well. So here is some more Pony stuff. Go ahead.
Did it? That was my question. Like, what other board games have they made? Because I don't know. It would be surprising for them to not ever.
Well, they did have a Pony Monopoly game, but Monopoly has everything. I mean, there's like your University of Choice Monopoly. There's Simpsons
yeah, it's not
Monopoly.
very unique. You're right.
Yeah, I mean, there's so I mean, I don't know if I count that as like a Pony merchandise or just Monopoly making another everything. But anyway, if you wanted a kid or a more kid-friendly version of a board game to go play, Pony Chutes and Ladders exists. Go throw money at it. It gets some cool little miniatures to use.
Yeah, true. I wonder if there's anyone in a shoe or a little car, maybe. Spike wearing a top hat.
Spike wearing a top hat. That would fit. Yes, that would be a plus. I'd consider that a plus. Speaking of Spike, Comic-Con is coming up this year, or coming up here soon, and they have announced that the special Hasbro exclusive will be from Power Ponies. It will be the Maniac and Humdrum, or Spike, and I gotta say, this looks pretty sweet. This is something that makes me really want to either get there myself, which is not going to happen, or to find someone going there and to bribe them to send me one, because you know how these exclusives are. Once they're out, they usually show up online for about 30 minutes and then they're really gone.
Not a lot of experience in that area myself, I'll admit, but I take your word for it. I do believe that sounds about right, like how it, a sought-after item.
We aim for we aim for moderately accurate and believable on this show, and in keeping in that trend, we'll just move right on to the next part. In proving that the writers of the MLP comic do not care about your headcanon, they have uploaded an extended preview of the upcoming My Little Pony story arc, and it looks pretty good. This is the same story arc with an alternate universe with good Sombra and all that stuff, and not going to spoil anything with this, but looking forward to this. I love the Cook and Price books. They are fantastic. I mean, Pony comics are good stuff, good quality, but Cook and Price, man, they are a gold mine of pony content right there.
Yeah, I would agree. Honestly, I kind of just skimmed over this one. Didn't really look at what it was, so I'm going to have to check it out later, because all those comics are gold. Maybe some are golder than others, you think, but they're all gold.
They have a higher purity rating, maybe? Yeah. No, they're all solid. I don't know, man. I'm kind of old school when it comes to comics. I've purchased a digital comic or two, and it just doesn't feel right. I mean, I like to have the book in my hand. So I need to make a trip out to my local comic shop and pick up some stuff, because it's been a while. I'm behind on the comics. So anyway, moving right along, that's all there is for the news. Again, not a lot going on. There's no Season 5 news, but maybe this year's Comic-Con, in addition to having a great exclusive figure, maybe they'll have some information like they did last year. Remember last year at Comic-Con we got that 4-minute animatic with a song and all the black and white preview images. Hopefully we'll have something like that again, even though rumors are kind of saying it's going to be mostly Equestria girls. We'll see.
Ooh.
Yeah, I know. It's coming, guys. There's no escape. So anyway, we're going to go to our interview at this point. Tonight we have DRWolf. So let's go to our interview. And welcome to our interview. Tonight we have DRWolf. He's been making MLP content on YouTube for well over a year. He is known as a reviewer, an analyst, and has even been called a psychiatrist for the Brony fandom. DRWolf, how are you?
I'm doing pretty well, and I'm glad to be here. Thank you for having me.
Well, thank you for being here. We've been trying to set this up for a little while, and we were glad we were able to finally work this one out. So again, thank you for joining us tonight. We'll jump right into this. What in the world are you doing on YouTube?
I suppose what got me started on YouTube was a variety of reasons. First and foremost, I had been told for many years that I have a very good voice for radio or TV or some medium, that I should do something with it, but I never actually took the time to figure out how to do something with it. And it reached a point where I had suddenly decided, I'm just going to test the waters here somewhere and put my voice out there, see what random strangers think of my talents. And that was the primary reason, I suppose. Next reason on the list was the fact that I had been listening to the reviews and analysis of other MLP YouTubers for many months. I mean, it started out with people like Paleo and Straby Skunk, and then came Digi and Tommy Oliver and ANY, and I liked a lot of the content they produced, and I thought they came up with a lot of intriguing ideas. But out of all the videos that I had been listening to, I didn't hear any one of them give praise to one character in particular, Fluttershy. I didn't know that anyone out there was really seeing her as this great, fantastic character that is rather inspiring and a great example to follow. So I thought to myself, I actually could explain why she is such a great character and why she's so enjoyable. And I believe it was around middle of May in 2013 that DigiBrony had released a video specifically asking for other people to submit their YouTube analysis videos to him so that he could feature them on Equestria Daily. I honestly wasn't thinking about getting a lot of attention, but I was thinking, you know, I do have a lot to talk about, and I am interested to see whether or not people would enjoy hearing my voice, so I decided I'm going to figure out how to make a video. And I realized that I had no experience in making any kind of video on a computer before. I had no idea what programs you were supposed to use or where you could collect images and clips and whatnot. But I was determined enough to figure it out. And over the course of 3 days, learning everything as I went, and still being rather amateurish, come to think of it, I put together my ideas, and I put together some relevant images to go along with my voice, and I thought, you know, if I put this up, and if I get a few dozen people to watch it, I'll be satisfied. I would like to hear what other people think of these ideas, and maybe it would start a bit of a discussion here and there to show other people that Fluttershy is an interesting character.
Okay. I was actually going to ask. You talked about. One aspect is you providing the voice for these videos. Your art. Do you do the art, or do you have someone else you work with, or where's that come from?
The art? Mm-hmm. Oh, you're talking about more of my recent videos.
Yes.
In the beginning, I had no one doing any kind of artwork for me, and throughout even the most of 2013, it was only a couple here and there who were willing to do artwork for me. But this year, 2014, I've been getting a lot of people volunteering their talents to make art specifically for a video series called A Moment with DRWolf, because I knew that I needed custom artwork to show DRWolf and whoever is the guest of that week in an office together. And I have artists like Mr. Tom Fox and Starbat, and let's see, Cider Splice has provided one, and Dakara POV, and Give and Take provided some good animation for early on, and Crown Prince, one of the more recent animators who worked on the video series, and it's been very helpful in getting people interested in watching these videos and discussing these ideas we go over.
One of the differences for like a podcast and YouTube is, like, of course, YouTube is not just audio, it's audio and visual, and you definitely have some very nice art going on. Like, I'm looking at your avatar right now, and that's wonderfully rendered. Who drew that one? Which one of your friends put that together for you?
Oh, this was actually one of the very first fan art pieces I had ever gotten from anyone. And this was made by Davian X back in June of 2013. Mm-hmm. And he is quite talented in what he does.
I would agree. I like the it's got the whole library set up, and it's got what looks to be the book from the opening of My Little Pony. It's beautifully. I know I'm wasting time describing a picture on a podcast. I shouldn't do that. But nice job on the art there. I wanted to go back to something else you said. You mentioned how you had a group of folks on YouTube that you would watch and that you would partake of, and I would take a moment and say that anyone listening to this, that's how a lot of folks start out, and you have those moments of doubt, and you're like, oh, I can't do this. Why would I put myself out there to be criticized and stuff like that? But everyone that anyone watches or listens to, whether it's a podcast or a live streamer or a YouTube person, they always follow someone else usually. I mean, and that's great. That's part of what this community does. Anyway, so what is your process for finding topics, I guess? I mean, when, like, right now we're in the middle of the hiatus and there's not a lot going on as far as actual content. How do you put together your videos? Do you collaborate? Do you look and see what no one else is doing, or what's your plan or your process?
Well, I suppose what I look for most is whether the ideas I talk about will create discussion in the comments, encourage audience participation, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter quite as much if other people have talked about certain subjects before, because I can usually put in a bit of my own opinion to make it a little more unique, as long as they aren't releasing that same kind of topic within the same week or month. Now, as far as collaborations go, I do a lot of collaboration videos. Oh goodness. I'm trying to think if any other YouTuber in the Brony community actually does more collaboration projects with as many people as I do. It's just a habit I've gotten into, that I like working with a lot of different people and getting a lot of different perspectives, and it helps to add to the discussion, because I don't want to just put forth my own opinion. I want to be able to hear from other people and whether they agree or disagree.
Mm-hmm. It's fun that way, isn't it?
Quite a bit, yeah.
I like, we talked to KP a little while ago, and she recently released her, I call it a love letter to John Delancey, but her super secret project. And I like that. I like the purpose behind it most of all, because she missed the fan interaction with Johnny D, and I just like how it was a group of folks coming together to put this together. I thought it was a real neat thing that she did. And I'm correct in believing that you were involved in that in some way, weren't you?
I did not provide my voice, but she had artists and animators add my character in the background.
Mm-hmm.
But she did that with a lot of different people throughout the fandom. So I'm not certainly unique in that.
Well, I was going to say, I thought I saw your character in there.
He's in there a couple of scenes for maybe a couple of seconds each.
Mm-hmm. Well, earlier you mentioned that sometimes you're called the psychiatrist. What's the word? Help me.
Psychiatrist.
Thank you. Sometimes you're called the psychiatrist for the Brony group. Give us a little more information or a little more detail on that. Thank you, Jesse.
Oh, let me think. That was first suggested in the comments of one of my videos in summer of 2013, because I was talking about the subject of anti-bronies and thinking about how it is really your choice on whether or not you take offense, that no matter what happens around you, you will always have that choice. And people started talking about that, and one person in particular said, I just got it. You're the psychiatrist of the Brony fandom. It makes so much sense. And I'm like, I hadn't really thought about it that way, but I suppose that makes a little bit of sense. And over time, that did develop into the Moment with DRWolf series that started in December as an idea and is now a weekly video series I've been keeping up for several months with a different guest every week.
Okay. Well, okay. Spinning off of that, would you take a moment and give us your thoughts on the whole anti-brony thing? Because I have not seen that video series or those videos just yet. Like I said, I've only had a little bit of time to go through some of your catalog, but that actually piques my interest to some of the stuff that I've been learning about. I dislike Tumblr, just as a base rule. Tumblr I avoid, but every now and then I'll find a link and I'll follow it, and before I know it, I'm over my head and things like I don't even want to deal with. But there seems to be a large, strong, and sometimes nasty group out there of folks who really don't like bronies, and they seem to congregate on Tumblr. Would you be able to give us your take on that kind of stuff?
Well, I suppose the most recent example that comes to mind was an anti-brony who came to my channel and started leaving comments on my discussion page requesting that he was looking for one of the more well-known brony YouTubers to engage in a discussion in a podcast that would be showing both sides of the issues at hand and get more people to understand the grievances that anti-bronies have, and even some of the grievances that bronies have. Mm-hmm. And it was actually rather successful, in my opinion. I was talking with this anti-brony who was keeping very calm and collected in everything that he was talking about, and we were just discussing our thoughts here and there, back and forth, and it was a very pleasant conversation, and I was more interested to see how the majority of my watchers would react, and for the most part it was actually rather positive, and it was creating a lot of good discussion. And quite frankly, I think that shows that if people are willing to be calm and collected in their conversations, that there is a lot that we can learn about where they're coming from and where we're coming from. It's something that I've been encouraging.
Dr. Wolf, I gotta say, that is like the opposite of everything I've ever seen on Tumblr and Facebook groups and stuff like that. Do me a favor, when we're done here, please provide a link to whichever video or videos those are. I would love to put that in our show notes for our listeners to go back and peruse later on. That well done, good sir. I'm genuinely taken aback that you were able to, not that you wouldn't be able to, but that a conversation was actually able to take place between a brony and an anti-brony, because some of these anti-bronies are kind of out there, and yeah. I don't know, maybe I've only seen like links to some of the most venomous threads they put together, but it's I mean, you mentioned this guy who was looking for someone to talk to, and that just sounds so contrary to what I'm used to them doing, because most of them will start throwing derogatory slurs with the first syllable that they use, and to hear now, is this still ongoing, or has it reached a conclusion, or like a?
Well, he and I did a podcast together, about 35 minutes of just discussing our thoughts, and maybe I'll do another podcast with him. I've had several conversations since then, and we've been very cordial with each other. He still has his grievances with the Brony fandom, but I think we've actually managed to surprise each other with how much we've been able to discuss and the ideas we've been able to go over.
I love what I'm hearing. I mean, I don't want you to, I guess, spoil what you guys talked about, but can you give us just another little bit of how your conversation went, or some of the things that you didn't expect to happen that took place?
Well, like you had mentioned earlier, I too have come across websites and pages that are filled to the brim with anti-bronies venting their rage in one way or another and looking to start a flame war wherever and whenever possible. I have seen that.
Oh yeah, there's plenty of it out there.
But at the same time, I was honestly curious whether I could ever talk to someone who has these grievances and learn more about their grievances, and at the same time, perhaps open their eyes to a new perspective in the process. Now, I've actually put together another video, which is going to be coming out tomorrow, that's kind of a follow-up to that podcast I did. So I'll be getting a little more in-depth there. But part of the conversation that I had with this anti-brony is, are we really being blinded by a title? When we hear the term anti-brony, do we start making assumptions in our mind before we even start typing back towards this person, or if we start speaking towards this person? It's a discussion that I'd like to get more people involved with. I'd like to think that just as there are many bronies who have formed their opinion of anti-bronies due to some of the most vocal, the most defensive, or even the most aggressive members of their community, I'd like to think there are anti-bronies who have formed their opinions of bronies based solely on our most vocal, most defensive, and most aggressive members, because those are the ones who, more often than not, tend to get the most attention.
Squeaky wheel, as some may say.
Indeed.
What would you, if you could boil it down to one or just a few gripes that anti-bronies may have with bronies, what tends to be something that gets under their skin?
Oh, one thing was ponification.
Uh-oh.
And that covers a very broad range of subjects.
That's like one of the tenets of the fandom.
Hmm. We do like to ponify anything and everything under the sun. If you can imagine it, we've probably done a crossover of it somewhere.
There are certain rules on the internet, usually with rule, and a couple of numbers or something after that. And I heard one that was like rule, I can't remember the number. It was, and the definition of it was, if it exists, there is pony for it.
Indeed. So that was one issue that was brought up during the podcast. And we had a little bit of discussion about that. But yeah, I can understand where they're coming from in part.
Mm-hmm. I guess from my perspective, and I'll say this up front, I really enjoyed the movie Frozen. It was a great movie. The music was fantastic. The animation was top notch. The story was really unexpected. I liked how it went. But over time, I'm not an anti-Frozen fan, but some of the Frozen fandom kind of got on my nerves. So I kind of hear what you're saying there, in that if I don't want to say if you're a fandom evangelist, knock it off, but I can kind of hear that being a little too exuberant, regardless of whatever the property is, can be a little grating, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's fair to say with anything. Was it moderation is key for all kinds of stuff?
Yeah, I mean, we as fans of this ridiculous little cartoon, we've seen how folks can lose their minds, whether at conventions or in chat rooms or in YouTube videos or podcasts or just tweeting or in any way of communicating with folks. We can be a little over the top. I think that's probably fair to say.
Well, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to say they're right, but at the same time, we could probably take it down a notch or two.
I love the fact that the Brony fandom is so creative and so prolific in creating more and more and more content.
Mm-hmm.
I hope that we can continue to be so creative and so prolific in what we are making. I like to see that a lot of people are improving upon their talents in what they're doing, and they're having fun at the same time.
Wolfie, you mentioned some of the YouTube folks you listen to. What are some of your other favorite creations this fandom has put together?
Oh, goodness. I can remember back in my early days, before I started watching the show, but actually just getting curious as to what the Brony fandom was creating. Mm-hmm. There were works like Ponies the Anthology and Ponies the Anthology 2, and then there was the Turnabout Storm, which was the My Little Pony and Phoenix Wright crossover, and that was really fun to watch. And then there are PMVs, like the Garden PMV was one of my early favorites. I remember that. It's just a wide variety of content that just never ceases to impress me on how creative and talented the Brony fandom has been.
Mm-hmm. Too much to name, obviously.
Before too, that's always been, one of the things that's, I don't know, admired or enjoyed about the fandom is just the amount of creation and the encouragement behind it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't look like it's slowing down really at all. I mean, we're going into season 5 here at some point in the next 10 to 12 months, who knows. but it just, I don't know, it's like from that very first winter wrap up remix, it just kept on going from there. So anyway, I think I've kind of sputtered on a little too much here. Dr. Wolf, was there anything else you wanted to cover or talk about before we went on to our panel section?
Well, I suppose it's just amazing that I've come this far, honestly, because I never expected anything quite like this to happen when I was making that very first video.
Mm-hmm. Actually, I take that back. I do remember something I did want to ask you about.
Oh, really?
Yes, I did. A while ago, there was. We've all heard about how YouTube can be a little too C&D crazy. And as I understand, well, okay, let me back up. The guys over at Lunar Echo said, "Hey, you should do an interview with this guy." And I was like, "Okay, well, I'll go look him up." And I went to go look up Dr. Wolf on YouTube, and I couldn't find him. I was like, "Where is he? I can't find his stuff." Oh, okay, whatever. I didn't think much more about it. And then I saw a campaign to get Dr. Wolf back on YouTube. I'm like, "What's going on here?" So, I guess walk us through that. What the heck happened?
Oh my. I had been doing what I've been doing for a very long time with YouTube, always creating a lot of the same stuff and using a lot of images and clips directly from the show, and I never got any copyright strikes for doing that, but I didn't think I was doing anything all that wrong. Unfortunately, there was one Tuesday in early May where I was proven very wrong when all of a sudden I was kicked out of my email, and when I tried to log back in, I got this message from Google saying, we have detected suspicious activity on your account. And that was rather worrisome. So after submitting my phone number and having them text me a code, I was able to get into my Gmail again. And I saw one message that says, "Your YouTube account has been terminated." No explanation as to why, but a very strict warning: you are not allowed to start another YouTube channel. You are not allowed to get any of your work back, and something to that effect. And I was like,
at this point, at that point, how many videos had you posted?
Oh goodness, I had posted over 200 at that point.
So like a couple days worth of straight content. Gone. No warning, no explanation, just gone. I know no one from YouTube is listening, but there needs to be a better process.
Yeah.
Please continue.
It would have been at least a little more understandable if I had been given some kind of warning, like, we don't like that you're doing such and such, you need to change this. Or if I had been getting copyright strikes saying, no, this video is not going to be what we expect you to do, you need to not do this sort of thing in the future, kind of thing. Mm-hmm. Just out of the blue. That was devastating. And I honestly did not get angry throughout that 2.5 days where I had lost my channel, but I felt very hurt and lost and confused. But it took all of a couple of hours for the word to start spreading like wildfire. Mm-hmm. Not just across the YouTube community, but even on Equestria Daily. They put out an article that same day, and there were people everywhere trying to reach out to me, and other YouTube reviewers and analysts making videos of their own saying, "Save Dr. Wolf," and it was honestly very touching. Mm-hmm. I didn't know when or how I could get my YouTube channel back, if at all, but it was just inspiring to see how much the Brony fandom was immediately willing to stand together and spread the word and send messages to YouTube and try to figure out how we can fix these things. Okay. And when I came back, so it was all the better.
Okay, so you were shut down, rally cap time, and then all of a sudden you're back on. What was the communication from the powers that be when you had your stuff returned? What did they give you an explanation? Did someone release a claim they had against you? Because my understanding, for purposes of review, they are protected like with parody. You can take someone's material and give your opinion on it, like what YouTube movie reviewers do.
Yeah. I still don't know if I had done anything wrong to begin with, because YouTube didn't explain that to me when they shut my channel down. And when my channel was brought back online, they sent me an email with 2 sentences. Once again, no explanation. It just says, you're back online, something to that effect. You know what? I'm surprised that they didn't ever try to explain their reasons why, but I honestly didn't mind, because I was just overjoyed that I was given my channel back, that I was able to go back to making videos like I had been doing for nearly a year up to that point.
Well, I'm glad that worked out. I try and because you hear about this kind of thing happening. It happened to a lot of musicians recently, and I just, what in the world? I mean, there's no explanation. It's like, can I grab like a Vlogbrothers video and say that's a copyright infringement, and will they shut them down? Or I mean, how the heck? I mean, that's the lack of communication there is with a lot of the stuff they're doing. They're upsetting a lot of their viewers and a lot of their users. I really wish they would reconsider how they handle things, because I'm sure yours is not the only story like this out there.
Yeah, I can't imagine it would be. There's been a lot of flack for their policies on that sort of stuff for a while now. So,
well, I think at this point we've kind of went on a little bit longer than I intended to. Dr. Wolf, thank you so much for coming on, letting us interview you, and we'd love to have you back another time to chat some more. We're going to head toward our panel now. Are you going to be able to stick around for a little bit?
I can stick around for a little while, yeah.
Awesome, great. Well, dear sweet listeners, here we go to our panel. And we're back with our panel. We still have Dr. Wolf, and you still have me and Jesse. Joining us tonight for our panel, we have Dawn Dreamer, an up-and-coming pony artist, singer, and podcaster of Lunar Echoes. Dawn Dreamer. Dawn, what's up, man?
Oh, not too much. How are you?
Doing well. Thank you for joining us again. And joining Dawn, we have Clockwork, a podcaster, owner of Lunar Echoes, and time manipulator, and also a fanfic writer. Clockwork, what is up?
Not much, just pizza and good friends.
Pizza makes everything better, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
Awesome. So, okay, this week we got an email. I was going to read through that, and then we'll get into other panel discussions. But real quick, hey, 5 Iron, you ever heard of and or do you like Streetlight Manifesto? I found them a while back through their lead guitar, singer, songwriter, and I can't say that name, Tokay? Sure, we'll go with that. Lone solo album, and it reminded me of 5 Iron Frenzy. Actually, now that I think of it, both of their newest albums sound kind of similar thematically and otherwise. Now, I know you're into ska, and that you hold a particular reverence for 5 Iron Frenzy, so I have a question for both of you. Well, Alpha's not here, so I'll have to answer it, and maybe Jesse. What are your favorite musical groups? And I guess we'll go ahead and hit the group here. My favorite group is now and shall always be 5 Iron Frenzy. I'm actually planning something of a tribute tattoo. It is still in the beta phase, but it is something I've been working on for a while. It's going to incorporate their new little hash tally mark logo. I love that logo. But I've always ever since I remember my first song I heard of 5 Iron Frenzy, it was a song Sucker Punch, back on a sampler album, like in 1996. I mean, I love me some 5 Iron. And
where's the tattoo gonna go?
It's gonna probably on my right arm, right around the forearm elbow area.
Okay.
I thought about incorporating one of their little
Hey,
girls.
Clockwork, leave that rail alone. Sorry, I forgot to mute.
I understood the reference. I like that. I might incorporate one of the little dancing robots by what's his name, Doug Tenenbaum. I can never say his last name right. But anyway, the artist who does a lot of their Their cover art for something else. The Creative Earthworm Jim. That was their cover artist for several of their albums. And I love his. It's kind of like surreal, crazy looking, organic almost type robots. So I might put some of that in there. I have heard of Streetlight Manifesto. I like their stuff. Pandora has opened me up to a bunch of other stuff.
Streetlight's a very good band. Should listen to more of them.
They
actually just had their last tour.
Are they done?
Ever? Yeah, they are done. They all wanted to just be grown-ups and like live at home and have kids and stuff. So, I shouldn't say all of them.
Well, I recall a 5 Iron Frenzy did the same thing, and they came back like 8 years later.
I'm sure they'll come back. They're just right now are, taking a let's be adults break.
Yeah, and that's actually I stole the name 5 Iron when they were still on a break, so I don't feel too bad about it. All right,
yeah.
So Jesse, what kind of music? I know you're a classically trained musician, but what you into, man?
Honestly, these days, one of my friends has just told me about band Survey Says. It's like they're fairly new. I can't remember. Maybe like 2010 is maybe when they came out. But yeah, it's like just straight up ska punk. He's been trying to play more and more of it with his own band, and they're pretty good. I gotta hand it to them.
Yeah,
they rock. I don't know. Other favorite bands, Streetlight's good. I liked a lot of Real Big Fish. Listen to that constantly. Can't ever say you don't like Green Day or Blink-1. Come on, all the early 2000s, anything.
Well, I mean, you can say it, but you'll be sorry.
Yeah. I mean, if you say you don't like it, then everyone knows you're lying anyway.
Yeah.
So.
And I forgot to mention, just because of the way Google formats the emails, that email came from Trent. Trent, thank you for the email. We love hearing from our dear sweet listeners. Jesse, didn't mean to cut you off. Anything else?
I don't know. The list goes on and on.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, what's your favorite food? Well, I can list a lot of foods.
The edible one, know.
There you go. Dr. Wolf, are you a music lover?
I enjoy a wide variety of music, yes.
What would be some of your most enjoyed bands or albums?
Oh, goodness. It depends on my mood, really. I will go for a long stretch when I'm working at the office and listen to old video game music from the 8-bit and 16-bit era.
Yeah.
And then there will be times when I will feel the need to listen to classical music, and I will go through about 2 hours of Strauss waltzes or some really good Beethoven symphonies or some really good piano pieces from Chopin. And then there will be times when I want to listen to something a little more modern, and I will go through, let's think. I will listen to an hour of Smooth McGrew music, his stylings of video game music done completely with his own voice. I find that very impressive. And then I'll listen to movie music, like some of the big tracks from, say, Lord of the Rings or Forrest Gump, or even some of the classic Disney animated films. It just depends on my mood, really. I go for a very wide variety of music.
Dr. Wolf, I gotta say, you got some good taste over there, sir.
Uh-huh.
So, okay, Dawn, what you got, man? What you rocking over there?
So, a guy at work just said the same thing that I always say, and I knew exactly what he meant. It just has to be good. And by that, usually what I mean is, if you take the words out and you're still humming the tune, is it still a catchy tune? And that's what I like. I like anything that can carry a really good melody. So I like a lot of the, usually like indie, what I guess is classified as indie stuff, like Regina Spektor, Decemberists, and then I really like, as far as like some of the more heavier stuff, I really like Nightwish. I listen to them a lot. But you mentioned classical, Dr. Wolf, and it's been it's been a long time, but man, I was really into classical back in high school. I listened to that a lot, and since then I've been playing a lot of instruments, violin, and I played piano for a long time. But so I don't know. I guess I kind of listen to anything.
That's. I remember when I was in high school, you were divided by your musical taste. As a group of folks who only listen to country, only listen to alternative, only listen to heavy metal, only listen to hip hop. And nowadays there are radio stations that literally play everything, and it's almost like you're listening to someone's mixtape. So Clockwork, what are your musical tastes? What do you enjoy?
Wow. That goes everything from Chopin, Wolfgang, Beethoven, all the way up to Nightwish, Caravan Palace, dare I say Britney Spears, Lady Gaga. What was my latest love? I started getting into genres like, is that right?
I can't keep track of all your loves. I mean...
Yeah, I know. But...
So a colorful spectrum, a vast palette of musical taste there.
Pretty much, yeah. I guess if I were to say anyone were my current favorites, I'd say Lizzie Sterling still sticks at the top there because she's the goddess of violin. But then I also like harder core stuff like Angel Spit and Indica, which are both like Norwegian, darker, heavy metal-y, darky stuff. And I also go into like show tunes. Springtime for Hitler
show tunes. That's what
and Germany.
Absolutely. I should have said that.
The producers, baby.
Sweetie Belle really touched my soul when she delivered that line. I prefer show tunes. I was like, yes, Sweetie Belle, I love you.
Speaking of referential stuff, has anybody has anyone read or seen the movie The Fault in Our Stars?
I read
No.
I've listened to a review on it. Does that count?
Yeah.
That's close enough, I guess. For anyone who doesn't know, and I saw this maybe 2 weeks ago, John Green, another YouTube guy, wrote a book called The Fault in Our Stars, and it's a fantastic book. I read it in like 3 days, and I'm a slow reader, so that speaks to how good it was. But in that book, one of the characters has an affinity for, is it Norwegian? No, Amsterdam hip-hop. And just let that sink in for a minute. Amsterdam hip-hop. We're talking about just the wide spectrum of musical appreciation and how, I guess through technology, indie bands and stuff like show tunes and remixes and house music, all that other stuff, has become much more prevalent these days. We're on here with a couple of independent producers of music. It's a bright and brave new world out there. It's a good time to be alive.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I have no segue, but we're going to go on to some other stuff to talk about. Unless someone has something else you really want to talk about concerning this email. Clockwork?
Well, just listen to the Brony musicians. They're a mix of genres. They have everything from electronica down to Swedish rock.
Yep.
And everything from... Oh gosh, I can't think of more than half of them now because there's like 14 million people out there doing music. Some of them are one-hit wonders, and some of them are like Mondo Pony, Living Tombstone, Wooden Toaster, AC Race Beast, etc. They just are popular.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, to answer the email, genres, they should all be mixed, remixed, and risen like a phoenix. Da-da-da-ch.
Yeah. Well, if you've got an idea out there, get out and make it. All right, so moving right along. Earlier in the news, we talked about a couple of different things out there. We can touch on that, or if somebody has something just burning on their mind, they need to get off their chest. We can segue wherever you want to go, guys. It's pretty much wide open for next couple of minutes till we wrap things up. Anybody got anything before we go to the news? I think I see a poke over there. What's that poke about?
I don't know. What is that poke about?
We talked about it earlier with the artists. Popularity and all that. That'd be interesting to bring up.
That's something. Well, shoot. I can tell you what is interesting to me is I have 2 pony picks now that I think are pretty good because they're done in like the traditional drawing style. It's kind of stuff you learn in art class. So I post them on this Facebook group, and nobody says anything. But you get these things from what is it, Dr. Tsoy's pony creator, and people are just, oh yeah, tons of likes, and oh, I like the colors and stuff like that. So I guess it's just interesting to me that people aren't really into the drawing style so much as they like to stick to the actual show style, and it's just all about what colors you used and what your cutie mark looks like and stuff like that.
I don't know. I mean, there's a couple artists out there that I'd like to point out, like Rubblegun and Ryojin, who do like these full body background art pieces that are just like epic.
But these are people that have been around for a while, right?
1 year.
So they've had the chance to build up a fan base. Maybe I'm just complaining that nobody likes my stuff.
That's I won't name them here because they're not here to defend themselves. But I've been talking to a friend of mine who is in the process of putting together a publication of sorts, and that's one of the things that comes up is like, well, what if no one likes my stuff, or what if no one watches my show or listens to my whatever I produce, and it sounds like this conversation is kind of going that way. So I'll throw my unsolicited 2 cents at that. First and foremost, I'll throw this disclaimer out there. We've been doing BronyTime for since 2000. I don't remember. 78 episodes by this point.
Since 2000.
Yeah, it's like 2012, 2013 somewhere. We started in September. I want to say it was 2012, September 2013. I don't know. We've been doing this for a long time, and we started. Alpha and I, we met over Twitter. We were both fans of Bronyville. We always give them the credit. We wouldn't be doing what we are doing if it wasn't for them. We love us some Bronyville. And I'll simply say what has kept us going. If you're not having fun, you shouldn't be doing it. That's just kind of how I look at it. If what you're trying to produce is not working for you, in that you're not becoming the next, and I hate to throw a name out here, but I'll throw Mando Pony because everyone knows him. That's not a slight against him, but I will say if your goal is to be the next Mando Pony, you're doing it for the wrong reasons. You're going to burn out and you're going to end up hating it.
Definitely.
You should be doing it for fun.
Segueing into that, actually, it kind of reminds me, have you noticed that some of the Brony reviewers have kind of gotten, what was the word that we used on? Cynical?
Yeah.
I'm not going to name any names, but I noticed that a couple of them over the past couple parts, like towards the end of season 4 especially, there were 2 or 3 of them that were getting really, what's a good word for it? Downer? Nasty?
I don't know. I just thought they were being kind of picky, but that's the case of many reviewers.
Well, no, I mean, I really thought that 2 or 3 of them that we had specifically thought about talking about, but realized it was a bad idea on our show. So again, not naming names, they just felt really cynical. Like they almost hated the show. There is one I would like to mention, and that is Drowning in Horseshoes / Drowning in Footwear. He plummeted quite quickly. He's still funny, but he uses not polite words and adult wording for which I don't believe some people should run across.
Gotcha. How do I respond to that? I grew up thinking certain words were evil, and at this point in my life, I'm like, all words are just words. It's the intent behind the word that matters. I too have seen some folks go a little sour, and my initial response is usually, well, maybe they're getting burned out. Maybe they should just take a break. Not that I know anything about them, but maybe.
Well, I guess my biggest example is I can think of 2 people right now that are attending cons that for the entire last half of the season they were doing any kind of reviews. They were just very negative about it. There's one group that I actually like, TBBPT. Is that how you say it?
TBB.
Something. 2 best brothers about ponies.
Yeah.
There, I bleeped it out for you.
Okay.
TBB AP. T-Bap is
T-Bap.
what they go by.
They're pretty interesting. They have like little spaghetti fights, so to speak, halfway through the middle of their speeches. But
they're really raunchy, but they're really funny. Yeah, and they're the OC are what do it for me. The one guy's name is Phantom Horn. Yeah. The Earth Pony that's got the toilet paper tutu taped to his head.
Actually, I've seen a few of the reviews, and I enjoyed their stuff. I haven't seen everything.
Yeah, it's pretty good, actually. And that's the kind of thing I miss, is like when they were happy. Because there's one or two reviewers out there that have slowly went down.
Well, I mean...
I understand you can get burnt out on it.
Well, you can. I mean, you can get burnt on anything. I mean, we're not sitting here trying to slag anybody. That's not the point of this. We're just chatting. At this point in the show, we're just kind of chilling and winding things down. Go ahead.
Oh no, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you. I was just gonna say, but I mean, we should probably move on beyond that, because there's another part of the fandom that I think is really interesting that DRWolf had brought up earlier, and that's the freaking creativity.
Oh yes. Well, let's see. What are... I wanted to say, like, what are some of the most creative things you've seen? But I mean, we've got people who literally go through and take fabric and create show accurate, creations.
Yeah. That's one of the interesting things. Is just that. Sorry to interrupt. It's just that we've, the Bronies have pretty much got all the bases covered as far as creativity. Like I've seen it all at this point. Mm-hmm. It seems like
custom kit bash toys where they repaint them to OCs, or whole full dresses that look like, well, for cosplay, whole full gala dresses. Just the music, the art, the fan fictions, especially like Fallout Equestria has become like the third hugest one out there now. I'm sorry, the first hugest one now,
which I still haven't read.
Well, it's growing every day, and then there's like 2 animation studios, a video game studio, a fan comic, an audio group. I mean, it's just that thing has its own like sub fandom. And when it comes to games, I mean, look how many fan games are out there: Legends of Equestria, Equestrian Magic. There's that Castlevania clone.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And that's one I'm really looking forward to, is a Legend of Equestria. I got to play just a little bit on their last beta test. Turns out one of their servers was not utilizing all of its cores, and thus we had a lot of the disconnections. But apparently they have it worked out for this next round. In fact, if you haven't heard, I believe it's the weekend of August 10th. Yep. Is the next beta weekend. So make sure you get this. Follow their, legendsofequestria.com. Keep an eye on their site. Look for all the updates, because that, I mean, these guys got it going on. They know what they're doing over there. They got a world built. They got content in the works. They've got quests and combat and neat stuff like that. Plus a very, very good character creator. I mean, what would you call it? What's it? General? What's his face's?
General Zoe?
No, General Mumble.
I'm sorry.
I can never say his name right. But whatever. Whoever that OC maker.
General Zoe.
General Zoe.
Yeah, his is pretty nice too. I mean, it's been on for a little while, but the cost for the pony creator in Legends of Equestria, our district listeners will remember that I'm a City of Heroes refugee, and that had literally millions of combinations there. And this creator for Legends of Equestria reminds me of City of Heroes. I mean, that's how good it is.
Yeah. Although I don't know if you heard, but they're having a panel at BronyCon. And they're supposed to be demonstrating their like Gamma build.
We're gonna be at BronyCon, and if I have anything to say about it, I will probably be stalking their panel.
Ooh, we might have to stalk it together, trade places off and on, because I'm anxious to see it.
I'm hoping I can get them to put a fez in, but we'll see about that. I need a fez and an Abe Lincoln beard, then I'm set.
You gotta grow your own Abe Lincoln beard, man.
I'm okay with it being unlockable. Make it a quest.
There you go. Pony beard.
Right.
Fire guys are swamping chimeras. You're good.
Only if I get to wear those cool boots.
I know. That's what I was thinking. Yep.
Boop.
Boop indeed.
Boop indeed.
Yes. So from the news, we had a couple other things. Anyone anywhere near Comic-Con? Anyone on this show right now? Because I will commission you to go buy me one of these figures. No? Okay, I guess not.
Where is it at this year?
It's always usually in San Diego.
Well, they also have one that travels to Philly and Baltimore, so
Yeah.
I didn't know if it was the traveling one.
I should have specified. I believe it is San Diego Comic Con. That's usually
Okay.
the big one, like 100,000 plus attendees.
Commission.
Nope.
There you go.
Nope.
Nope. Yeah, you're down there in Atlanta, I believe.
Yup.
Yep.
Dragon Con next year.
Yeah, I hear Dragon Con's pretty good. I never made it there myself.
Dragon Con. Neither have I, but I've always wanted to go.
Yeah. Well, I've been trying to get you to go to BronyCon for the past 2 years. How's this year looking?
I don't know.
Okay.
I'm still working on my friend from work that isn't a brony yet.
He's a
Yeah.
Diablo 3 player.
That's right. He's my Diablo 3 buddy.
One of us. One of us.
Google gobble.
Actually, speaking of merchandise and stuff,
Mhm.
did you see the new, and I hate to mention it, the Rainbow Rocks dolls?
They've got a lot of
Because Sephora has a doll.
yeah. There's Zagora, and I think Taobao has had the CMCs pop up as well.
Mm-hmm. And speaking of that, there's also Alicorn toy.
Alicorn Zakora?
Wait, say that one more time because you clipped out Alicorn. What?
They also have Hasbro officially released 2 new Alicorn figures, Golden Lily and Sterling Silver. And they come with Pinkie Pie and Fluttershy, they're the brushables.
Yeah, I remember hearing something about that. It was that was prior to the season 4 finale, right?
Yeah, that happened like a week before.
Because I remember
I saw them.
a big hubbub about that, and then the season 4 finale hit, and everyone like forgot all about that. It's like, screw that, we got DBZ
fight.
ponies.
Yeah. There's probably a whole bunch of closet princesses out there in Equestria.
Well, I mean, feel free to chime in here, guys. But I mean, I'm just sitting there thinking, it's another Princess Skylight. It's probably, hopefully, I don't know, maybe it will, maybe it won't, but it might not even have any continuity with the show. It's just,
It could just be a toy.
a pretty little doll to sell.
Although, maybe we'll have male Alicorns one day.
Yeah.
I still love
Princess Clockwork. Male. Male. Alicorn Princess.
No. Best Princess, Princess Big Mac.
As I was going to say, I still love Pixel Kitty's Big Mac, take wings to be a princess poster she made.
Peter Newman actually loved that. He tweets that every couple days now.
Yeah. Well, he cosplayed as Princess Big Mac at, what was it? No, it wasn't Nightmare Nights. It was BabsCon.
Oh.
It was TrotCon, wasn't it?
Was it? No, he may have put it on TrotCon as well, but I'm pretty sure it was at BabsCon first.
Because there was a picture of him in it not too long ago.
Regardless, he's a good sport with that, and it's always fun to see him interacting with folks and just being a big goof. We like this guy.
Yeah.
Well, guys, if there's nothing else anybody wants to cover, I think we're going to head toward wrapping up. Anything anybody's got? And we'll have a part for plugging stuff later on, but if you got any other topics or any other ideas, fire away.
There is one other topic.
Please.
Just came to mind. The D4 plushies, Fourth Dimension.
Oh, yeah, those things are beautiful.
Because they just officially released Trixie. They're going to do a Discord. If these do well, I've already said they're going to do a larger Discord. Because Luna and Celestia are going to be set at $60 according to my resource. Trixie, because they're apparently a couple inches tall, like more than the normal ones.
Mm-hmm.
Trixie, Princess Twilight, Big Mac, Rarity, Octavia, DJ Pony, and the main 6 altogether are going to, including Unicorn Twilight, are going to have plushies. They're going to release the first main 6 and the 2 princesses. If they do well, they are going to release DJ Pony, Big Mac, and Octavia as their own little set, and then Trixie, Lulamoon, and if everything goes really well, we'll get a Cadence, for those who actually like Cadence.
I like Cadence's singing voice. Can you pull a string and make her sing? That would be awesome.
But
she's such a good singer.
I thought that was worthy of mentioning. What are your guys' thoughts on those plushies? Do you think they're good? Do you think they're going to help out Hasbro? Do you think they're going to stifle things with the fandom?
I think they'll make a mint. Dr. Wolf, you got any opinion on this?
I don't actually own any plushies of any kind, so
Me
I
either,
don't know if I really could have an opinion on this.
Shun the non-believer.
Sunshine!
I mean, $60 though. $60, that's a steep price tag for a stuffed animal.
Apparently, they're going to be pretty tall, like a couple, almost like 1.5 feet tall. And there's because if you see the pictures, anyone sees them, you'll see they have the full flowing mane. They look like a fan done one. Honestly, it looks like someone took a fan pattern and did it because it looks really good, including the Big Mac.
I know I'm not the first one to say this, but I always find it funny that when we talk about the really good, high quality, created plushies, it's like a fan made it, as opposed to produced by the toy company that owns the property.
Man, I saw that sparkle at Target. It looked like a porpoise. It was really scary.
Not as weird as the Piggy Pinkie Pie bank.
Oh yeah, the Twilight Sparkle piggy bank I have. It still looks like a pig.
Oh my. Well,
my little piggy.
And on that, I think we are going to go ahead and start wrapping up. Lunar Echoes, Dr. Wolf, Jesse, guys, thank you so much for being here tonight. It was interesting, to say the least.
Absolutely.
Dear sweet listeners, you can find BronyTime every week, Monday night at 11 p.m. on CelestiaRadio.com. Episodes then air about 12 hours later on PonyvilleLive.com. After that, they're available for download through various aggregates, iTunes, Stitcher, or at our URL, BronyTime.com. We currently have 54 5-star reviews on iTunes, and we love getting stars and thumbs up on Stitcher and whatever other rating systems are available. So if you would be so kind as to leave us a written review on iTunes, we will gladly thank you by name on the show here. Just a heads up, next week we are not having a show. We're taking July 4th off, and we'll be returning the week after that. Currently, we're not having any trivia. Trivia is on hold until after BronyCon. We will be gathering up prizes to give away during our live panel at BronyCon. If you're going to be at BronyCon, please stop by and see us. We'll be having our show on Saturday, August 2nd at 11:15 a.m. in the Star Auditorium. We're up against EQD and Flufflepuff, so please somebody show up. Yeah. So we're giving things away. I don't think they are. I hope they're not. Don't tell them, because we're going to give stuff away. Let's see what else. Also, there's a couple ways you can support our podcast. You can make a monetary donation through the Donate to BronyTime link on our website, BronyTime.com, or you can use the Amazon link on our page to follow that link and do your shopping at Amazon. It will not cost you anything extra and gives us a tiny cut of the profits. Hopefully Amazon will have that crap in their publishing stuff worked out soon, because I am tired of this garbage. Amazon, stop trying to be a monopoly. Yeah, I don't like monopolies.
Game.
Yeah. Anywho, we love to hear from our dear sweet listeners, so please shoot us an email with your ideas for topic ideas, intros, questions, your point of view for anything we've talked about to questions@BronyTime.com. Let's see. Is there anything else any of our lovely panelists and or guests would like to plug? I'll start here with Jesse. You got anything you're working on?
Not even a little bit.
Fix it.
No.
Do something.
Yeah, I know.
Dr. Wolf, what you got, man? Got something coming up on the horizon?
I've always got something coming up.
That's what we like to hear.
Working on something else, something new. I've got many more Moment with Dr. Wolf projects. I am also in the middle of doing each of the main 6 for their own Moment with Dr. Wolf sessions. I'm currently having the art done on the first of those. Also have a bit of a secret project with 8 other reviewers and analysts in the community. That's going to be a lot of fun when it actually does come out. I'm hoping that'll be sometime next month. We'll see.
Okay.
So just all kinds of projects of all different sizes. I just always have to be working on something.
No, I completely understand. Like, we're taking next week off, and it's going to drive me crazy because I hate missing weeks. Well, that sounds awesome. All right, Lunar Echo guys, what you got in the works?
I'm working on my drawings. I'm not expecting my account to grow very fast, but you can check out DeviantArt. My username is DawnDreamer12.
Clockwork, you got anything?
Well, aside from my own DeviantArt page under Pup Shackle, actually we do have something coming up. Because of Ponyville Live changing our scheduling, we are now going to be airing our episodes It's still every other Friday, but we've moved up to 9 p.m. We're currently doing a couple new podcasts. We're going to hopefully have some special guests on. We're doing BronyCon this year, so anyone who wants to find us. We don't have a panel. Don't have one because we apparently weren't well known enough yet. We are going to be around the con, though, walking with Skybolt and Shadow Star, and hopefully a couple other well-known bronies. So if you see us or you recognize our voices, come say hi.
All right, well, guys, again, thank you all for being here. Dear sweet listeners, until next week, pony on.
Stay dear and sweet.
And I just was worried about him because I heard the spray can thing, I'm like, did something explode?
Yeah, I thought somebody like.
I probably shouldn't have said it like that. I was because I mean, who has a spray paint accident? Probably should have said
because
something
he actually was painting stuff for the barbecue tomorrow.
Are you serious? Oh wow.
So
I didn't.
Oh boy.
That's what I understood. He said he was preparing stuff, and I'm like, well, maybe he's painting because he kept talking about cleaning the furniture up. I thought immediately spray paint explosion.
No, I wish I'd gone with a different joke now, like he got stuck in a waterbed or something. I don't know.
I once in college ordered a pizza online, and it was like after midnight, so I was surprised that they let me order it. I was like, wow, cool, midnight pizza delivery. Nope. It showed up the next day at like 11:30 a.m.
Are you serious?
Yeah, well, they let you order anytime, and then
right.
they'll fill the order as soon as they get to it. So it was like number one the next morning, and they woke me up with a pizza at my door.
I'll assume there was no alcohol involved. All right, let's. I guess let's go ahead and get this panel going. I'll count down and do the intros, and
Here's our pizza. Hold on, guys.
Or we'll wait for pizza.
Count down to pizza.
Oh man. Speaking of pizza, man, I ordered one of those Pizza Hut big boxes. Like the dinner for 4.
Don't ever order Pizza Hut.
Oh,
Dude, that's underrated pizza right there.
I've had Pizza Hut. Believe me, whatever reputation it has is overrated.
I don't know. I kind of liked it.
I agree with that.
Plus, this box of pizza came with breadsticks and pasta in it, and 2
That's
pizzas.
what they go for, is the side dishes. That's what their commercials are all about.
Yeah. I mean,
Look,
if you just want a big
side
tin...
dish. Inventive.
Yeah, if you just want like a big tin of meat and sauce and noodles and cheese, dude, they nailed it. It's like Olive Garden to go, man.
So you ordered like some sides with a pizza with it.
No, I got 2 pizzas.
Well, sir, I know you don't want
Come
this.
on.
I know you don't want this pile of crap, but we'll give you 2 piles of crap, and it'll be even better.
Think about it. For $20, you can get 2 pizzas, a thing of pasta, and breadsticks. Or for like $13, you can get a medium stuffed crust. That's no brainer.
That's all bread. You're buying a lot of bread.
Yeah. How much does the surgery cost?
So,
We're good.
Wolf, go ahead and do your thing, man, and we'll get back to those guys in just a second. You were talking about.
I'll be sure I'm okay to start.
I'm gonna mute now.
Jesse, stop enjoying this. All right, so if you'll take it back to where the main 6 thing.
Okay.